Hey guys, I'm a little late getting my Wednesday email out today, but it's still Wednesday, so I did it. We made it. Made it through another week. And for the next couple of weeks, I've been thinking that I would like to go over the 5 precepts of Reiki in preparation for my workshop next month. And so the precepts are the foundational aspects that Reiki practitioners aim to live by. And the goal of Reiki is not just to practice and to use it for healing purposes, but that it's a spiritual system, and eventually our goal is to not just practice Reiki, but to become Reiki and live as Reiki. So the 5 precepts are: do not anger, do not worry, be humble, be honest in your work, and be compassionate for yourself and for others. So this week we'll be focusing on the first one, which is do not anger. And I have a story that I wanted to read to kind of go along with this. 2 monks were strolling by a stream on their way home to the monastery. They were startled by the sound of a young woman in a bridal gown sitting by the stream crying softly. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she gazed across the water. She needed to cross to get to her wedding, but she was fearful that doing so might ruin her beautiful handmade gown. In this particular sect, monks were prohibited from touching women, but one monk was filled with compassion for the bride. Ignoring the sanction, he hoisted the woman on his shoulders and carried her across the stream, assisting her journey and saving her gown. She smiled and bowed with gratitude as he noisily splashed his way back across the stream to rejoin his companion. The second monk was livid. "How could you do that?" he scolded. "You know we are forbidden even to touch a woman, much less pick one up and carry her around." The offending monk listened in silence to a stern lecture that lasted all the way back to the monastery. His mind wandered as he felt the warm sunshine and listened to the singing birds. After returning to the monastery, he fell asleep for a few hours. He was jostled and awakened in the middle of the night by his fellow monk. "How could you carry that woman?" his agitated friend cried out. "Someone else could have helped her across the stream. You are a bad monk." "What woman?" the tired monk inquired groggily. "Don't you even remember? That woman you carried across the stream," his colleague snapped. "Oh, her," laughed the sleepy monk. "I only carried her across the stream. You carried her all the way back to the monastery." So there are a lot of different versions of that story. You might have heard it before, but it really speaks to the intentions behind the precept, do not anger. And the precepts were translated from Old Japanese from the early 1900s. So the way that they were translated, I guess in its simplest form, is do not anger. But the longer version, the more thorough version, is do not bear anger. And so it's not saying to never get angry or not experience anger, because that's impossible. Of course, we're going to feel angry and things are going to make us angry. But the goal is to not bear anger. So not to hold on to it, not to ride it, so to speak, not to carry it around with you for the rest of the day. So I really like that story. I think that that's a really good illustration of it. And I'm really excited to keep going over the other precepts. I'll have other stories to share with you. And if you have any other questions about Reiki, you can always reply to this email or message me on Instagram. But I hope that you have a great week, and I will talk to you guys next week.